The Utah real estate market has officially become a buyer's market. We have to understand cash buyers are starting to become much more prevalent than they used to be. The different types of financing and the goods and the bads behind using them. And lastly, let's just talk a little bit about interest rates. My name is Payton Clancy Fairbanks, and let's talk about it. Currently this year, 34,441 homes have sold. 64% of these have used conventional financing, or around 21,938. Coming in second place, which is a little bit surprising, was cash offers. They have accounted for 19% of the financing types of homes bought this year, or about 6,434 homes that have been sold. Why has cash been a more interesting and useful financing type for this year? Specifically because you don't have to pay interest rates with it. So that if investors can find homes that cash flow, all of a sudden they're able to do it a lot easier without having to pay that extra mortgage payment. And then also on top of that, they can buy it for their personal residences. Just makes it so they can be more aggressive in their negotiating to try to get a home that is cheaper. And then on top of that, they also have a mortgage payment. So there's a lot of good possibilities with cash. Coming in at third was FHA with 11%, or 3,638 homes and sold. And then fourth was VA with 1,579 homes, or about 5% of the current homes that have been sold this year. This is fairly normal. We kind of understand why all these financing options have been used, but kind of interesting was there have been 64 cryptocurrency sales, or 0.20%, and then there have been 241 seller finance deals, or about 1%. It's super important to have a very skilled loan officer in your corner, somebody that can explain the nuances of all the different kinds of loan programs. One of the basic largest pieces is going to be how much the sellers can contribute to your closing costs. The two best ones that you're going to be looking for, paying 10% or more down on a conventional loan, or doing an FHA 3.5% down. Why? So that the sellers are able to contribute all the way up to 6% of the sales price towards your closing costs. That can be all those normal things that we've talked about on the videos before. If buyers contribute 25% down payment, the sellers can actually contribute 9%. So that's also a great option if you can't quite make it cash. If you do less than 10% on a conventional loan, sellers can only contribute 3%. So I feel like that's the least advantageous route to go about. But with FHA, 3.5% down, you can ask for 6% of your closing costs. That's a very good option. That option is just as good as doing 10% down on a conventional loan. The options that you should probably be straying away from right now in this moment of time are going to be options like 0% down USDA or FHA Utah housing, only because you're going to have extra costs on top of getting the loan. Even doing a VA loan, as much as it's super useful because you don't have PMI, there's still a lot of extra costs that you have to pay. So make sure you talk to a loan officer that understands the whole situation. They can say, what are the actual extra origination fees we're going to have using FHA Utah housing or using a VA loan, and how is that going to compare to doing an FHA? If you have cash, try to save up 3.5% down payment and try to use an FHA loan, or try to save up 10% and use a conventional loan. That's just genuinely my best piece of advice, something that you should definitely be trying to do in this current real estate market, to take advantage of those sellers' contributions, and then also get a home at a discount price. So back to everything that we've been saying. If you're trying to buy a house right now, be aggressive, be very aggressive. So now that you understand kind of the financing and what's actually going on in Utah and how to use that financing in your corner, lastly, let's talk about interest rates. I'm a little bit worried. Interest rates are officially above 7%. These are levels that we haven't seen since 2002, and then the amount of mortgage originations, or them trying to get people to apply for mortgages, hasn't been this low since 1996. This is a very large concern, showing how low the demand really is, even in the state of Utah, all over, for people trying to buy houses. So be very aware of that, very much understand that. Also understand that central banks are expecting to raise the interest rates on November 1st, another 75 basis points, and then there's probably going to be another raise before the end of the year. As interest rates keep increasing in the state of Utah, home prices will keep decreasing. These home price decreases will be most prevalent with homes that are old, that need some work, or homes that are in less populated areas. So if you're buying a home that is in a well-populated area, that doesn't have a lot of work, and that is brand new, it's going to decrease in price less than a home that has all three of those variables. So just be super duper aware of that. As we're going into this, as you understand the interest rates and the type of loans that you're having, just be super aware that it is not a good or a bad time to buy a house. It is just a normal time, and understand all the variables around that. So lastly, let's bring it all together. So understand that cash has become a more standard way for people to buy more than we've seen in the past. And this is because you're not paying an interest rate, and there's a lot more discounted properties that we're seeing now that would make it so that cash could actually be a better option just in general for all the reasons that we're talking about. If you're choosing to buy a house using a mortgage, something that I did, that a lot of people did, just make sure that you understand all of your options, and that having that extra 3.5% down for an FHA will make it so that you have a lot more seller contributions, which will make it so that financially, investment-wise on the books, it'll look a lot better. So look for the better seller, look for the better financing options, and use a loan officer that can explain those things more in depth. And lastly, interest rates have went up, and this is going to be decreasing prices for homes. Whether that's a home that's older or a home that's newer, it's just going to dictate on how quickly those prices decrease or by how much. So if you got an old home, if you got a home that needs a lot of work, and you got a home that's not in a populated area, it's going to decrease more in value. So try to mitigate those things as much as possible if you're trying to sell the home. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'm trying to do it a little bit more relaxed and a more Payton personality, so I hope that you enjoyed it. Like and subscribe if it helped you out at all. Have a great day.